Violette1st, Bill's special doctor. Introduction. Hi, this Violette1st story is about Bill losing it over his special doctor. Plot. It is a peaceful winter afternoon in Mount Airy, Maryland. A 52-year-old Violette is washing some dishes. A few minutes later Violette sees the time. A few seconds later Violette calls for her 58-year-old husband, Bill, because they need to leave. A few seconds later Violette yells to Bill that they have to see his special doctor for his weekly appointment. Bill then shouts back that he is never seeing Zach the psychiatrist ever again. Violette then replies this is court-ordered. A few seconds later a 17-year-old William starts shouting at his 832-pound wrecking ball-sized father to get downstairs for his psychiatrist session. Violette then tells William that she is gonna call Zach to say that Bill is being himself. 3 seconds later William grabs a fishing rod and bag of shredded cheese. A few seconds later William casts to the top of the stairs. A few seconds later William gets a big bite. William then starts pulling. A few seconds later Bill crashes into a wall. William then tells Bill he can get one fast food item if he behaves with Zach. A few seconds later Bill says he wants food, but never going to Zach's torture room ever again. William then says he can't get food. 1 second later Bill runs back up to his bedroom. A few minutes later Violette tells Bill she cancelled the appointment with Zach, and they will be going to a buffet instead. A few seconds later Bill runs to the SUV. 1 minute later Violette and the boys speed off to Zach's office. A few seconds later William puts a blindfold on Bill. 10 minutes later Bill takes his blindfold off. Bill then sees they are in the waiting room of where Zach works. Bill then sees Zach walking over to him. A few seconds later Bill tells Violette she's dead. Zach then drags Bill to his office. A few seconds later Violette tells William to prepare for the possibility of the office to collapse. A few seconds later Violette and William decide to stay in case they need to beat the crap out of Bill to sedate him. A few seconds later Zach screams at the top of his lungs. Violette and William then hear massive crashing sounds and very loud gorillas screaming. A few seconds later Violette and William see Bill is destroying Zach's office. Zach then sees Violette and sneaks out, leaving an angry Bill alone. A few seconds later Zach, Violette, and William start telling other people in different offices to quietly evacuate. 5 minutes later the 9-story psychiatrist office's only person in it is a time bomb named Bill inside its doors. A few seconds later a massive explosion goes off. Then mass panic comes upon the people witnessing the office destruction. 5 minutes later the office starts to sway a little. Violette then instantly knows the entire office is going to collapse soon. 2 minutes later a major explosion goes off on the 5th floor. Violette then tells William they can't go in because it is too dangerous. A few seconds later a large chunk of the 9th floor crashes onto the street. Then the building starts to shake. A few seconds later William tells Violette to get ready. 1 second later a chunk of the 8th floor explodes into the sky never to be seen again. A few seconds later the office's foundation starts to crumble. 2 minutes later Violette screams for everyone to run for their lives. A few seconds later the 9-story psychiatrist office starts to shake violently as its time is coming. Then small chunks of wall start raining onto the ground. Violette and William then hide inside Violette's SUV for protection. A minute later Violette sees a big mushroom cloud on the 9th floor. 3 seconds later the building starts to weaken. A few seconds later Bill runs out of the office. Then the 9-story building topples. 1 second later Violette floors it and puts the pedal to the metal. 3 seconds later the office crashes mere inches away from where the SUV was parked. A few seconds later Violette and William get out of the SUV. Violette then puts her car keys into the depths of her hand purse. A few seconds later Violette sees the extent of what Bill has done. Violette and William then meet up with a group of survivors. A few minutes later they are told that 3 adults and 6 kids lost their lives. Violette then says she will be right back. A few seconds later Violette and William approach Bill. 1 second later Bill asks if they can still go to the buffet like promised. A few seconds later Violette and William grab 10-foot whips. Then someone shouts that the police are about 4 minutes away. A few seconds later Violette and William grab another whip each. 3 seconds later Violette and William start whipping Bill's body with 4 whips. 10 minutes later Violette and William speed home, while Bill is driven to Washington, D.C. to await his trial. The end.